Okay, next week we are doing addition, and we are going to be adding together 3-digit numbers and 2-digit numbers and 3-digit numbers and 3-digit numbers as well. We're not going to be using the column method at this point in the year. We're going to be doing something else, which is what I'll go through with you today. So 153 plus 34, if you wanted to represent that on a bar model, it would look like this: 153 in a bar with 34 in a bar, and we're asking what that's worth together. So if we put those two bars together, what is this worth? And the first thing I'd do with this problem is I would partition the smaller number. We're going to add on the smaller number, which is this one, so it's easier. We've got tens and ones, and we've got 3 tens here, which makes 30, and just 4 ones. I might be able to just start adding that on now. I might be able to say 153 plus 30, well, that's 183, then add the 4, but if I'm not confident enough to do that, I'd put it on a number line. So I'm going to do that now, 153 on my number line, and the first thing I'm going to do is add the 30. So I can count on in tens, and I need to count 3 tens, so that's 163, 173, 183. So here we get to 183. Now I have to add on my 4. So I just count on 4 from my new total. So that's 184, 185, 186, 187. And I can write my answer up here, 187. And so we know this bar here is worth 187. That's relatively straightforward. We haven't crossed through from the tens to hundreds or ones to tens. Let's see what happens if we try a harder one. So again, 382 plus 151. It's good practice to write that as a bar model, just to visually show what the problem is asking you to do. I'm not going to do that now though, just for the sake of time. So I'm going to partition again. I'm going to add on the smaller number to this one. We can do it either way. Adding on the smaller number is easier. So we've got 1 in the hundreds column, so we're going to have to add on 100. We've got 50 in the tens column, so we'll also be adding 50. And we've got a 1 in the ones column, so we'll be adding 1. And we're going to add these values separately. I'm going to do this on a number line again. And this is considered a mental method. So in year 3, when we talk about mental methods, this is fine. You don't actually have to do the whole thing in your head. So right, 382 plus 100. So I'm going to draw my jump forward, right, plus 100. And that's easy, just add another 1 in our hundreds column, so that's 482. Then we're going to add 50, so this is our next partition, 5 tens is 50, and it gets a bit trickier because something's going to happen here. I'm going to have to go into my hundreds. Let's count on, we can still count on in tens, 492, 492, 400, and oh, it's tricky. It's not going to be 400. It's going to be 502, 512, 522, 532. So 532. And the next step is quite easy. It's just adding 1, so 533. So that's our answer, 533. There is something that I do which makes it a bit easier on this plus 50 step, which is I can do it in 2 steps. I think about if we do it again, 382. The plussing 100 was pretty straightforward, and that got us to 482. And I think about splitting the 50 into 2 different jumps. And I think about what's easy to add to 482. Now I think that adding 20 is easier. So 492 plus another 10 is 502. And then I need to add 30, which would make 50 altogether. And that will take me to 532, and then I can add my 1 to 533, which gives me the same answer. So you can break down this number any way you want to help you jump. It's good to show it on a number line. It helps you remember the steps you're doing, and you can go back and look to see if you've made an error, you can work out where it is. So at the moment in year 3, this is how we're teaching addition, by partitioning numbers, and if you need to, using a number line to show how you add those partitions to your original number.